No.
A smile is a universal language. It can be a warm greeting or an assurance of comfort and familiarity. But smiles can also be sinister. What if you encounter a world where any smile you see, irrespective of the face that flaunts it, is creepy and threatening? The Smile movie franchise explores this very idea with a horrific twist in the tale. Fellow horror fans, welcome back to Marvelous Videos. Today we're exploring all the theories surrounding the ending of Smile 2, the latest addition to the Smile franchise. This video contains mega spoilers for the movie, so if you haven't watched it yet, do it now and come back later. You have been warned. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means an awful lot. Thank you, and let's begin. What is the Smile entity? The Smile entity is a creepy virus-like entity that haunts the protagonists in the Smile movies. A person haunted by this supernatural force starts seeing wide, soulless smiles on the faces of people around him and is psychologically attacked by hallucinations. These hallucinations can range from simply being a distraction to a life-threatening attack. It's like a pathogen feasting on the infected person's brain till nothing remains. There is only one way to get rid of this entity. It is by killing someone in front of another to traumatize them. If you're not able to do that, the entity will stage your death like a gruesome suicide in front of its next victim and claim them. A quick recap of the movie. Smile 2 begins with Joel, the police detective and ex of Rose Coder, the protagonist in the first movie, who succumbed to the entity. Joel decides to get rid of the entity by killing a criminal in front of his partner. Joel accidentally ends up killing both of them, which is witnessed by Louis Fergali, a small-time drug dealer. Parker Finn, the writer and director of the Smile movies, prides himself on the movies being character-driven. Smile 2 focuses on the journey of Sky Riley, a pop star celebrity played flawlessly by Naomi Scott. Sky used to deal with drug addiction but had sobered up after she got in a car accident and lost her boyfriend, Paul Hudson. Sky's trying to make a comeback under the watchful eyes of her momager, Elizabeth, and assistant Joshua. Sky sneaks out to get Vicodin, a painkiller from her drug dealer, Louis Fergali. Louis, under the influence of the Smile entity, is erratic, anxious, and manic. Sky assumes he's going through a bad trip and presses him for the Vicodin. He kills himself in front of her by smashing his face into a barbell weight. Spooked by the experience, Sky rushes home and texts her estranged best friend, Gemma, apologizing for her previous actions and requesting a call. At a fan event, the Smile begins appearing on her fans and she rushes home. At her house, she hallucinates that a stalker has followed her home and is trying to attack her. That hallucination is interrupted by Gemma knocking on her house. She forgives Sky and Sky tells her about Louis and the hallucinations. Gemma agrees to sleep over to help Sky. Sky's night is marred by nightmares of Louis and her accident with Paul. The next morning, she tries to cancel her work engagements, but her mother discourages her. At a charity event, she hallucinates her dead boyfriend with a weird, creepy smile and accidentally pushes the host of the event off the stage. While her team handles the damage this has done, she gets a text from a stranger who claims so he can help her. Sky meets this man Morris, whose brother was killed by the entity. Morris, who is a nurse, tells her that they can kill the entity if they stop her heartbeat for a couple of moments before starting it again. Morris believes that stopping her heartbeat means she's technically dead, which should kill the entity. Before she can think about it, she is recognized by fans and she is forced to leave. Back home, she is cornered by a troupe of dancers, all smiling sinisterly. They attack her and she passes out. She wakes up in a wellness center beside her mom. She tries to cancel her comeback tour, but her mom rebukes her. While still yelling at her, Elizabeth breaks a nearby mirror and using a sharp shark, mutilates herself. Sky tries to escape but realizes that she has hallucinated again and that she was the one who mutilated and killed her own mom. She rushes out and asks Gemma to drive her to an abandoned Pizza Hut in Staten Island, where Morris has promised to help her out. In the car, the real Gemma calls her, revealing that the Gemma she's with is also a hallucination. Inside a Pizza Hut, Morris leaves her alone in a Pizza Hut to slow her heartbeat, where she's confronted with a memory of her accident again. The entity shows up as herself, telling her that nothing is real. She tries to kill herself with an injection that Morris had prepared to stop her heartbeat, but the entity laughs when she doesn't die. She is led into a pod, and when it opens, she's on stage at her comeback tour in front of hundreds of audience members. The entity attacks her one last time on stage as she drives the mic into her eye as the horrified audience watches her. Let's break down that ending. The simplest explanation of that ending is that everything she sees after the troupe of dancers is a hallucination, and she only gained back her consciousness when she was back on stage. This explanation also means that the entity can infect multiple people at once. The best case scenario is that only the live audience would catch it, not the millions of people at home probably watching the live stream. Either way, Sky's performance would cause a smile-infected epidemic where everybody is either hallucinating or committing gruesome murders to escape the entity. Parker Finn told the media that he wanted this movie to be a commentary on the star power and influence that celebrities have on people. He also wanted the audience to feel guilty about their complicity in Sky's fate. To put it in simpler terms, he wanted the audience to feel guilty about showing up to the theaters to see a woman go through so much trauma. This also adds more lore to the entity. We didn't realize in the first movie that the smile could infect more than one person at once. We also get insight into the cunningness and intelligence of the entity, as it just doesn't spread without calculated planning. It waited until Sky got on stage that a larger part of the population was affected. Did she really affect her audience? Many viewers believe that Morris didn't have an actual plan to get rid of the virus and had fully intended to leave her alone in the freezer of the abandoned Pizza Hut. Morris tells her that the door is broken and cannot be opened from the inside, but he closes the door on his way out anyways. So the only plan that Morris had was probably to leave her alone in the freezer so that the entity also dies without having anyone to spread it to. This has led many to theorize that the stage performance was Sky's last hallucination before the entity kills her in the freezer. This is supported by banging sounds that many claim to have heard, which could be Sky trying to get out of the freezer. Another theory is that the entity can only affect one person, but it chose to kill Sky on stage so that they can't track it down, like Morris did with Sky. Surely Morris can't check up on all the thousands of people and whether their erratic behavior is caused by being infected by the Smile entity. Many theories have also started floating around about the origins of this entity. The most popular one is that it is a negative tulpa. Tulpas are beings that are created from intense human concentration and spiritual practices. Many believe that the entity originated from the collective human subconsciousness from the dark recesses of negative emotions like grief and trauma. The entity seems to be moving away from the human consciousness, though, and gaining sentience of its own, as is shown by its schemes in the movie. Marvel's verdict. If every single member of the audience is truly affected, the chaos is going to be uncontrollable. We can definitely expect more lore about this Smile entity. Perhaps we'll also get a peek at the origin of this being. We at Marvelous Videos cannot wait for the release of Smile 3 and find out what the evil entity is truly capable of. Do you have any theories about the ending of Smile 2? Well, let us know your thoughts in the comments below.